Hello, welcome to this video where we're going to go over the World's 2023 Final Four top laners as I go over each role in this video series. Now that we're going into semifinals, so this is where things really get heated. Top lane is definitely a role full of elite players. The Shy, you could say, is the worst, but also can perform just as well as everybody else. We've seen it time and time again. If he flips heads, he is up there, and in this tournament, he has. So we're going to look at their stats a bit and look at champion distribution and also draft priority. So in terms of KDA, Zeus has blown everybody out of the water. Oh, I'm going to start with this, actually. I added this last, so it's all the way over here. You can't read it, so let me just go over this for a second. So 369 played 9 games. 369 has played 9 games so far. These stats are from those games, 4 of them being against Keen from KT, 3 against Zika from LNG, a game against Bin, and a game against Adam from BDS. Bin has played in 5, 8, 13 games. 13 games. Bin has 5 against Doran from Gen G, 3 against Broken Blade from G2, 2 against Zeus, 2 against Oscarinen from Fnatic, a game against 369, and a game against Keen. It might have been 1 game against Oscarinen, but either way, that's who Bin has been against. The Shy, we have 11 games played, 4 against Dokla from NRG, 3 against Oscarinen, 2 from Chasey against Mad Lions, Broken Blade, and Keen. So the Shy's numbers are definitely against lesser competition. And then Zeus, he has played in what do we have here? 8 games, it looks like. 3 against Zika, 2 against Bin, and then 1 against Doran, Summit, and Fudge. So solid competition there as well. Obviously, Fudge is the outlier, but Summit's no slouch in lane. So that's the context for these numbers. Now, KDA, Zeus leads the way at 5.9. Everyone else is around 3 to high 3, almost 3.7 for 369. CS per minute, everybody's around 8.2 to 8.4, but Zeus 9.7. Heavy resources into Zeus's hands. We saw that with the Aatrox against LNG. KP, in terms of participation, we have a different vibe going on here. So 369 at 69% KP. He is heavily involved. And you look at the other 3. 51.3, 51.5, 50.5. Not even close to the same type of style of play. BLG, Weibo, T1, they're fighting around the rip. The top laner doesn't have to be there. JDG, 369 is there when they're fighting. And it's a different style of play. And, it kind of gives you a different vibe for what type of players these are. This is why 369 does get my pick as the best overall top laner in the world, because he can do everything. Where you look at Bin and Zeus, more carry-oriented, and the Shy, very carry-oriented and also an inter. Gold per minute in terms of resources, Zeus gets 447 gold per minute. The other 3, 384 to 407. So actually, 369 getting a lot less prio when it comes to resources than Zeus. I mean, that's no surprise when their CS difference is 13 every 10 minutes. In terms of damage output, however, the Shy and Zeus about the same, 650. So the Shy getting a lot less resources than Zeus, but dealing more damage, and that's something to note. Now, Bin, on the other hand, nearly the same amount of gold as the Shy, but dealing almost 200 DPM less. That is significantly less, and that can be attributed to champions, that can be attributed to team style, but nevertheless, Bin is not getting the same output for the gold on return. Damage share. Bin is only 20.7% of BLG's damage. That's very different than what you'd expect, given that he's carry-oriented. He's very important to their success. Elk's dealing a shit ton of damage, and then Yagawa's getting picks that he probably shouldn't have in his hands. Now, 369's very standard, 23.8%. That's a little higher than the regular season, but they're also giving him more opportunities to carry now. Obviously, JDG can do whatever the hell they want. The Shy and Zeus, though, are showing they are the primary carries for their teams right now at Worlds. 28%, and then almost 31% for T1 and Zeus. Like, that is, you see that from 80 carries. You don't see that from top laners. He is strong side right now. In terms of 15-minute splits, 369 is the only one that's behind on average at 15 minutes. He's on average down 300 gold, 2 CS, 86 gold. No, sorry. I switched these. I'm a dumbass. Gold down 300, XP down 86. 2 solo kills in the games he's played. Now, the other 3 are dominating lane and CS. All of them are up 10 CS at 15 minutes on average. And now when you take that into account and who they've played against, the Shies isn't quite as strong as Zeus and Bin. Because, I mean, Zeus and Bin have played tougher opponents. Bin up 212 gold, and then the Shy and Zeus both up over 450 to 480. XP, Bin up slightly, 28 XP. The Shy up 456, and Zeus up 657. All 3 of them have 4 solo kills each. So, all of them a little more aggressive than 369 in lane. Now, 369 did show like an excellent Ornn game against Adam, but that was against Adam. So, I mean, you know, we take that for what it is. But there is a difference to be seen here, right? Not carry oriented as much, not getting as much priority 369 because JDG have a lot of mouths to feed, right? So, those are the stats. Now, in terms of champion picks, everybody's played Aatrox. It's the most played for 369 and the Shy and Zeus. So Bin is the only one to not play Aatrox the most for himself. Renekton is what Bin plays the most. 369 also has played Renekton. K'Sante, everybody but Zeus has picked it. Ornn, only 369 has played Ornn. Gragas, 369 and Zeus picked it once. Jax is one of Bin's most played, and only Bin has played it out of these 4 top laners. 3 of them have played Rumble. 369 is the only one that hasn't. When Bin played it twice this past week, it was the first 2 times in his career he's played it. The Shy played it twice. Zeus played it once. Gnar, the Shy has played it twice. Zeus has played it once. And then Jace has been played by Zeus twice. Nobody else has played Jace at Worlds. Everybody outside of the Shy, everybody has a pick that they did that others didn't. 369's played Ornn. Bin's played Jax. Bin's played Jax, and Zeus has played Jace. Now, when it comes to bans versus and against, so how are teams approaching these top laners? T1 have had Rumble and Gnar banned against them quite a bit. Out of the top 5 highest percentage bans against them overall, Rumble and Gnar, and they ban Jax a lot. So that's something to note. Weibo have Rumble banned against them a lot, but don't really ban top laners. So the Shy's on an island up there. BLG have Jax banned against them and ban Rumble themselves. You have to keep in mind, though, Bin just started playing Rumble. Maybe they don't ban it as much anymore. And then JDG, 369's Ornn and Renekton get banned against him a lot. It's kind of crazy when a guy is drawing Ornn bans, but they do ban Rumble and Jax. So, out of these 4 teams, JDG actually, in terms of averages, have top in their drafts more than the other 3 teams, I guess you could say, because there's 4 out of the top, 5 being banned against, 5 being banned for, where Weibo's not as much. Only Rumble really shows up often. There's a lot of Poppy bans, Maokai bans, things like that in their pools. And I guess you could argue Poppy could be flexed to top, but none of these players have played it yet at this event. I know that they can, but they haven't. So do they think that they're comfortable on it? I mean, we don't know. But I think it's something to note and look at. Obviously, these 4 players I think are excellent. And it's not given the meta in that, you know, you look and we'll get to mid in a couple days, but the mids are very facilitator oriented going into this event. Um, and the meta kind of is giving off that vibe, right? So to see top laners that carry here is not a shock. These are the guys that got here. Keen and Zika are also top lane carries, but they couldn't get it done. Dokla, you know, that is what it is. So, I mean, in Doran. I mean, Doran also can play carries, but he's not. Those four are not like Keen, I guess. And Keen and Zika can compete with the Shy, but really, when you look at it, these four are. You can see the Shy being better than those four, and the other three being better than those four. So, that's definitely something that I think is very noticeable when you actually look at this board here. So. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.